is supposed to be a Democrat state. I don't think so. I don't think so.
A historic moment in southern Minnesota. About 2 hours ago, President Donald Trump was in Rochester. We have everything you need to know about his speech and details surrounding the visit.
And we are continuing to track some very light showers making their way through our area. We'll let you know if they'll stick around into your Friday coming up.
KIMT has been on the ground and in the sky, covering every step of the way today. We've got your full presidential visit team coverage. KIMT News 3 at 10 starts right now.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3 at 10.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Katie Lang. At a pivotal point in the election cycle, President Trump spent the day rallying in Rochester. And the historic event filled the entire Mayo Civic Center in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Kaylin Thompson was there for the rally and now joins us outside. Kaylin, how are things down there tonight?
Katie, I'm outside of Mayo Civic Center, and it's definitely a different scene tonight than what we've been bringing you throughout the day. Now, when I was in those doors earlier this evening, there was a sense of energy when the president came to town.
From the lakes of Minnesota.
You could feel the sense of pride and unity as President Trump walked into Mayo Civic Center. His visit brought in thousands, as well as the idea of what the Republican Party can do.
America has achieved the biggest comeback in our history. True.
People tell us they felt a sense of positivity as the president spoke.
Very inspired, always, always. I watch all his rallies on TV, but to be at one is amazing.
But I don't know how you could be here and not just feel amazing.
By me showing up is just my way of supporting him. He's done so much for us, and he's given the power back to the people. So, yeah, that's just here supporting the president.
What's left behind me tonight is a lot of trash and lawn chairs from the wait earlier today. I'm sure the task for tomorrow will be cleanup. Reporting live in Rochester, Kaylin Thompson, KIMT News 3.
All right, thank you very much, Kaylin. But tonight, we're finding out not everyone was excited for tonight's rally. In fact, they weren't even able to get into the arena. KIMT News 3's Brooke McKivergan spoke with some people who were turned away. She joins us live downtown. Brooke?
Well, Katie, today I spoke with one couple who tell me they reserved their tickets to today's rally the same day they found out that our president was coming here to Rochester to visit. They say they showed up plenty early today, but still weren't able to get in. Darlene Vincent and her husband say they've been anxiously awaiting the president's arrival here in Rochester. And even though they weren't able to get into the Civic Center, Darlene tells me they're enjoying getting to meet so many other Republicans and celebrating the president with others. Her two sons are in the military, and she says because of this, her family has even more respect for our president.
My boys have sworn their lives to protect the flag, and that's their boss. He's their boss, and I respect the office, and so I'm kind of excited that he would come here to Rochester.
Darlene tells me she and her husband debated on going back home to live stream the rally online, but decided being here in person, feeling the energy of the crowds around them was much more meaningful. Reporting live in Rochester, Brooke McKivergan, KIMT News 3.
All right, thank you very much, Brooke. Though it may have been a little chilly, the weather held out for the presidential visit today. But what's rolling in next? To find out, let's go to KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sarah Knox.
Thank you very much, Katie. Yeah, still watching those showers as they're rolling through. Really light to moderate rainfall, nothing to really worry about. So let's pull out the radar and take a peek where they are right now. Right now, we're seeing Freeborn County looking at some of the heaviest of the rainfall, but overall things not looking too bad at all. Where you're seeing the darker greens and the yellows, that's indicating where the rain is falling, where some of the lighter greens hitting that dry air, maybe just misty at most. Now the kids heading to the school bus stop tomorrow might want to grab a jacket once again. We're starting off chilly. We're going to start off cloudy though, and happy to say that things are looking to stay mostly dry as we head towards pickup time. That's around 3 o'clock. But then there is an isolated chance, slight chance, that a few more sprinkles may roll in just in time for Football Friday. We'll time it all out for you coming up later on in the newscast, but let's swing it outside and take a live look over US 52 here in Rochester. Earlier today, it was closed down, but things have opened up once again. Still looking at those wet roads. And as I said, we'll break down the rain threat later on. Katie, back to you.
All right, thank you, Sarah. From the beginning of his visit, people were ready to give their support to the president.
Well, I think it's an honor to have him in Rochester as a business person and a person that has employees, and I'm trying to pay wages and benefits and in a sense, keep my little part of America going. I think it's pretty neat to have him here.
Several people set up displays like this one near the airport to welcome President Trump to Rochester. Here's a look at Mr. Trump exiting Air Force One. Now, for this trip, he used a smaller airplane than he usually does. He then moved into a vehicle joined by senators and other politicians and escorted by law enforcement to leave the airport. From there, the president's motorcade departed for the Civic Center. Several roads were shut down, including Highway 52. You can see the vehicles turning off of the highway here, taken from our live eye in the sky. KIMT was on the ground as the president arrived to the rally. And as we mentioned, this rally is coming at a pretty significant time in the election process. The midterm election is less than 5 weeks away, and there's a lot at stake as Republicans work to maintain their majority in the House and Senate. Now, one of the big races in our area the president came to rally red votes for is the 1st Congressional District, which spans the entire southern part of the state. KIMT News 3's Dee Dee Steepen was at the rally tonight, where the president threw his support behind the Republican candidate. And you joining us now here live, Dee Dee.
Yeah, Katie, Jim Hagedorn is hoping third time is a charm when it comes to his campaign for the 1st District. After losing to Congressman Tim Walz by a very narrow margin in 2016, Hagedorn believes this endorsement from the president may just be the boost he needs to win the district in November. When called up to the stage by the president, Hagedorn promised to be a conservative reinforcement for the administration if elected.
Do you want to go back towards the Obama ways? Do you want resistance in Washington? Or do you want someone that's going to be a conservative reinforcement, partner with President Trump and like-minded colleagues? Keep moving the country in what I'd say is the right direction. It's a really clear choice in the election, and we hope people will side with us.
Now, we did reach out to Hagedorn's opponent, Dan Feehan, to get his reaction to this endorsement. We didn't hear back before we went to air. However, we did talk to Feehan earlier in the week, and he told us he takes it as a compliment to his campaign that Trump came to this district. And Katie, we also know that over the weekend, former President Barack Obama did endorse Dan Feehan.
All right. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. Your KIMT News 3 team coverage continues. Next, we have a live interview with a DFL representative to get their take on President Trump's visit. Plus, air in support. Here, protester platforms next.
This is KIMT News 3 at 10. Coverage you can count on. Live from Rochester. Your local news with Katie Lang. Your Storm Team 3 weather with meteorologist Sarah Knox and chief meteorologist Tyler Roney. KIMT News 3. Coverage you can count on.
We'll continue in our political coverage tonight. Local DFL reaction to President Trump's rally in Rochester. And joining me now is Mark Lebo. He's a member of the Board of Directors for Senate District 26 here in Olmsted County. And Mark, thanks so much for coming out tonight and joining me.
Thank you for asking me.
You know, let's get right to it. A little bit about DFL response to President Trump's rally today.
Well, he kind of said what we expected him to. You know, he mocked women, he played fast and loose with the truth, and he said the kind of things he says pretty much everywhere he goes. You know, a little more on Kavanaugh this time because, of course, you know, that vote's coming up.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't exactly a shock, and we kind of expected that.
You know, I think the big thing is that the midterm elections are coming up. Where do you guys go from here? He obviously put his support tonight behind Hagedorn. You know, it's a huge race.
Right. It's a big race. We very much want Dan Feehan to win. I think Dan Feehan has a very good chance. He's got a wonderful record. It's going to be a close race, though. I think that Hagedorn will find that the Trump support of 2016 is not likely to be as great as the Trump support in 2018, and a lot of Hagedorn support is going to go down with that.
You know, with that November 6th midterm election coming up, where do you guys go from here? You don't really have that much time, 5 weeks to get out the vote yet?
Well, you know, we had a big event at the DFL headquarters today. While the rally was getting ready and while it was going on, we had over 80 people show up. Lots of them went out and into the street and knocked on doors. A bunch more people called. And we're just going to do more and more and more of that until the polls close on November 6th.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate your time tonight. All right. Well, just ahead, not everyone came in support of the president. Hear from one college student who traveled from out of state to let Trump know she doesn't agree with him.
And if you have early plans tomorrow, grab the umbrella. You'll need it. Otherwise, some cloudy skies. We'll map out your Football Friday for you right after this.
We track storms to alert you first. This is KIMT Storm Team 3. Weather coverage you can count on.
Well, welcome back, my friends. We started out with sunshine, and now we're dealing with a bit of rain moving on through at least a good portion of us, and that includes Albert Lee has been seeing a decent amount of rain here over the last hour, as Storm Tracker 3 here shows us. Some moderate rainfall starting to make its way into Dodge County, and Rochester getting in on the rainfall as well, but overall, things have just been staying pretty soggy. Not a lot of thunderstorms embedded with these systems simply because we've been too cold. It's been very chilly after yesterday's cool down. In fact, all of us in the 40s right now, some of us getting into the lower 40s, including Dodge Center and Byron, Rochester at 45. The same can be said for both Preston and Austin. Sky Tracker 3 now as we push time forward, picking up on more scattered rainfall coming into the evening and overnight hours. This is around 3 a.m. If you have an early wake up around 5 a.m., still looking at the possibility for some spotty showers there. Things look to dry out nicely as we come into the afternoon, and ultimately when Football Friday kicks off, we are looking at cloudy skies, some cooler temperatures, even a bit of drizzle very possible in the air. Still quite a bit of moisture from that warm front we saw earlier on in the week. And then coming into Saturday, we finally start to see some of the clouds move off. The drier air really does start to take over and the sunshine comes out. This is around 2:30 in the afternoon. Your neighborhood forecast this evening, we are going to Dodge Center, and this is going to take a peek at what we expect for the morning. You can expect a bit of a soggy start, starting with the rainfall, but it will start to end, and then it's just cloud cover. Getting into the 50s though, happy to say. 7-day forecast now where the weekend is always in view. Sticking with the 50s as we enter into the weekend. As I mentioned, Saturday seeing a little of sunshine, probably the best day if you have plans to go to maybe a pumpkin patch, pick some apples. And then by Columbus Day, that is Monday, we're warming back up, but the rain chances continue all through next week. And that's a look at your 7-day forecast.
It is still very quiet across North Iowa. Here's our live eye in the sky looking over Charles City. And when we take a look at Storm Tracker 3 Doppler radar, not very impressive right now. Some light rain trying to fall west of I-35, just southeast of Forest City. Not really having a whole lot of widespread success. And that will be the case the rest of tonight as well. Zooming out, you can still see we have some rain in northwestern Iowa, but it is encountering a lot of dry air, so certainly nothing very impressive for rainfall overnight. We're all sitting in the upper 40s, a few mid 40s, and temperatures really haven't changed much throughout tonight, thanks to all that cloud cover. Wind is out of the east to northeast, anywhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour. We'll keep the cloud cover around overnight and into Friday morning, even some very light rain we're tracking. Feels like temperatures back in the upper 30s. Sky Tracker 3 will show that we'll have the cloud cover overnight. Some light rain very early in the morning, well before anybody heads off to work and school. And while most of Friday will stay dry, some very light sprinkles are possible just in time for some of those football games. But at least the heavy rain does stay just to our south. And we're even looking at a little bit of sunshine by Saturday afternoon. Over the next 7 days, where the weekend's always in view, we'll be in the mid-50s for Saturday and Sunday. But look at Sunday night all the way through next Wednesday. We are tracking rain the entire time. Even though we do warm up a little bit, we're talking over 2 inches of rainfall when all is said and done when you add up Sunday night through Wednesday morning. But at least we have most of the weekend to stay dry and get to enjoy it. Katie?
All right, thank you, Tyler and Sarah. Thousands of people waited in line to see what the president had to say today, but not everyone was there in support. KIMT News 3's Brian Tabak has been on the ground talking to protesters all afternoon. And Brian, you're joining us live tonight. What's it like down by the Civic Center now?
Well, Katie, mostly you can just hear cars driving by on the wet roads. It's pretty quiet right now. But earlier today, the lines to even see the president wrapped around for blocks, even here to South Broadway. That's where they were met with protesters. They were telling me that they would like to make sure that their voices were heard and even work with the other side. The lines stretched blocks with people waiting for President Trump.
He's standing up for our country for a change.
But not everyone is in favor of the commander-in-chief's visit.
I actually made this sign before the inauguration while I was in D.C.
Bruce Berry was among dozens holding a peaceful protest.
This is what democracy looks like.
But says he fears losing his right.
If more people actually don't show up for engaging in where the country is actually going, we may not a year from now be able to actually stand on the corner and do this, because I have a little bit of fear of what's going on.
Barry says the only way to do that is to start a conversation with those on the other side of the aisle.
It would be nice to be able to engage and have a conversation, sit down with the folks that are actually walking by.
But when I asked those waiting in line if they'd be willing to work with those protesting,
they don't want to work at all. They don't like to work. That's the point. If they were willing to stand up and do something for themselves, they wouldn't be out here.
Larson says there are a number of different reasons why he's waiting blocks away from the Civic Center to see the president.
He's pro-life, he's pro-growth, he's good for the economy, and there might be a little pain right now on certain sectors, but I think it'll all come out well in the end.
While Barry and Larson don't see eye to eye on the issues, Barry's holding out hope that conversation between the two sides will allow him and everyone else to continue to stand on these corners and have their voices heard.
All people would need to be more engaged in thinking that this is one world, actually. No borders, none of that.
Katie, while these were meant to be peaceful protests, and they were for the most part, there still was some tension. I heard conversation about Supreme Court nomination Judge Kavanaugh, as well as which party best represents America, just to name a few. But Katie, the lines to get into the Civic Center definitely outnumbered the number of people who were protesting. In downtown Rochester, Brian Tabbitt, KIMT News 3.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Among the protesters, people who traveled from far and wide. We spoke to some students who traveled all the way from Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, to voice their opinion. Shalul Aiden and a group of her friends made the nearly 2-hour drive to protest President Trump's visit. Aiden tells KIMT one issue she's here to voice her opposition on is the president's stance on immigration. She tells us her parents are refugees from Somalia and shouldn't be treated less than anyone else. So she's here to spread her message.
Love is at the center of our message here, and that we don't dehumanize people alongside of it. Like, that's the most important thing to us.
She and her friend participated in the Greater Than Fear Walk from Soldiers Field Memorial Park to Rosa Parks Pavilion. And addressing a child care shortage across the country, how one representative is hoping to do just that.
Hey, good evening, everyone. A Boone, Iowa native is up to quite the challenge as he sets out on a journey on foot, stretching from Alaska to Florida. Had a chance to meet him in Osage this afternoon to see how the run is progressing.
Right now I'm running from Kenai, Alaska to Key West, Florida. It's about 5,300 miles.
Some people might call it crazy, but for Pete Kosselnick,
it's really just the adventure of a lifetime.
And it's not the first time he has ran across the country.
Broke the world record for running the fastest across America in just over 42 days.
But this time he is taking it to a new level.
A little different type of challenge because it's about 2,000 more miles than that one.
And with the new challenge comes new obstacles.
More of a pioneering challenge to see if someone can run from Alaska to Florida and just kind of showing, what the human body is capable of.
With the constant physical activity, especially in various weather conditions, proper nutrition and hydration are critical.
I always have lots of water with me throughout the day, lots of food, eating about 7,000 calories a day.
So where does Pete stay at night?
Usually I stay in motels. I have a few nights here in Iowa since I'm from Boone originally, where I'll get to stay in people's homes.
But one of the most enjoyable parts of the run?
Lots of great people and see a lot of great things that I might have missed in the last run across America.
So how far has Pete traveled?
So far, I've a little over 3,500 miles. So today's day, I think 66.
Meaning he is 2/3 of the way to his final stop.
I'm trying to do it in about 100 days, so I'm averaging about 53 to 54 miles a day.
By the time he reaches Key West, Pete will be able to say he lived his dream.
Kind of my slogan for this run is key to key, key night to Key West, unlocking my wildest dreams. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for me.
Well, it's big news out of North Iowa. A Clear Lake High School graduate will be joining Team USA in the 2018 World Wrestling Championships. Joe Colon will compete at 61 kilograms after Nashawn Garrett is unable to compete after suffering an injury in training. The competition will be held in Budapest on October 20th and 21st. Colon is a two-time state champion with the Clear Lake Lions. He is currently serving as a volunteer assistant coach at Fresno State. A winning streak is on the line for the Iowa Hawkeyes football team. They go into Saturday's Floyd of the Rosedale game, having won the 3 previous meetings. The Hawkeyes look to bounce back after a loss 2 weeks ago to Wisconsin. Minnesota is looking to come back after a loss to Maryland. Kickoff at TCF Bank Stadium in Minneapolis is Saturday afternoon at 2:40. Live in Studio 3, Caleb Gillock, KIMT News 3 Sports.
Excellent. Thanks, Caleb. And, you know, the football weather continues to roll on. We do have cloudy skies, chilly temperatures as well. 57 our high for tomorrow. Some sunshine on Saturday, though. Looking forward to that.
Thank you very much for making us your choice for news. We'll see you back here. Daybreak begins at 4:30. Have a good night.